Chris De La Rosa, Old Talk Magazine, Man in the Pot. Not just Man in the Pot, but we'll be doing recipes that home style flavor from the Caribbean. The ones your mom, your grandma, your auntie used to do for you. The ones you grew up on. Speaking about the Caribbean and recipes, we were down in Jamaica on holidays, my wife and I, and our friends had us over for dinner. His mom made this wicked rice and peas. I had to steal that recipe for you guys. You know how your boy is. Anyway, let's make this rice and peas. First of all, let's take a look at the ingredients. Over here, I've got 2 cups of brown rice. It's important to use brown rice because of the texture and everything else that we're looking for. Here, I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of freshly grounded allspice, 2 cloves of garlic that I gave a rough chop to. Over here, we've got 1 cup of coconut milk, the richness, the flavor. This is what this dish is all about, the coconut milk. Over here, we've got 1 can of red kidney beans. I know I said rice and peas, but we're gonna be using kidney beans. Back here, 3 cups of water for cooking that rice. We're gonna probably need a little bit more. Probably gotta tweak this a bit depending on the variety of rice that you use. Up front here, we've got 1 teaspoon of salt. We're gonna use that as a base because I'm gonna say your tolerance for salt will be a little bit different than mine, so you may need to adjust that at the end. I've got a couple tablespoons of olive oil, and over here, where all that flavor, that rich Caribbean vibe is gonna come from, 1 habanero or Scotch bonnet pepper, any hot pepper that adds that nice Caribbean feel to this. 2 scallions that I gave a rough chop to, 1 medium onion that I roughly chopped as well, and thyme. I just love the scent of fresh thyme. This is gonna work out to about a tablespoon or so once we pick it all up, but I'm gonna cook with the branches and everything intact. Now, speaking about brown rice and cooking with rice, if you follow me over here to the sink, what I have is the same 2 cups of rice in the bowl here, and we gotta wash that. A lot of times, a lot of people don't realize you gotta wash it. In this bowl with water, I'm just gonna go ahead and massage that rice between my hands and go back and forth. I'm gonna caress this. It's gonna get up close and personal with this rice. Then we're gonna pour that out, and we're gonna repeat that step 1 more time. The whole idea is to clean this in such a way that once you're all done, the water will run clear. And this is what I have already done here. With the rice nice and clean now, we're all set to go. But before we go, I want you guys, let's take a look at coconut milk and coconut in general. Check this out. Gotta go like this. And this here, guys, is a busted open dry coconut. And this is the sort of meaty stuff that you see in the inside here. This is where all those flavors come from. Now, if you don't want to go ahead and have to crack open a dry coconut, it does require some work. It does require now that I remove it out of this hard exterior. As you can tell, it's very hard. You got to remove that flesh out. Then you would grate it and then add it to some water and squeeze it to get the coconut milk out of it. Or you can put it in a food processor. Same idea, add some water and to get that coconut milk out of it. You don't want to do all this kind of harabara kind of work. You come over here. And these are the different ways you can get coconut milk, more from a convenience standpoint. We've got the coconut powder. Same thing, it's just dehydrated coconut cream or coconut milk. You can get it in your frozen section as well. Just go to your local Caribbean grocery store and you would find it in the Latin stores as well, have them. Coconut cream, same idea. The coconut has been creamed down and all that flavor is in right in this package here. Most common you would find it, the coconut milk. And this is a can. Sounds like a coconut. It has coconut milk in here, but it's not really the same. It is a good substitute, however, because it's nice and rich and creamy. And finally, another byproduct of that coconut milk that we have here, the coconut milk that was grated down and formed, is the coconut oil, a natural oil they make from the coconut, the dried coconuts. So there you go, guys. You know quite a bit about coconuts now and coconut milk. I hope you guys add some of this rich Caribbean flavors by adding coconut milk to your dishes. So in a deep pot here, I've got the olive oil on a medium-high heat, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna start building the flavors, the flavor base for this rice and peas. And all I'm gonna do, guys, is Toss in the onions, the scallions, as well as the fresh thyme. Give it a quick stir. And typically you want to cook this for about 3 minutes on a low heat. I'm just going to turn down the heat because you really want this to sweat and soften up but not burn. I've added the black pepper, as well as the garlic and everything else. You notice I also added the allspice to this. And I'm just going to keep stirring this and cooking it until it wilts a bit. The onion is going to go translucent. All we're doing here is building those flavors, those rich Caribbean flavors in the pot here as a base. It's now been a few minutes, and all we're going to do now is keep building on those flavors and adding the other ingredients. So up next is the rice that we washed. I'm just going to pour that all in there. And you can hear that pot singing. Hey, that's music to my ears. I'm going to give that a quick stir. And now we're going to add the coconut milk to the pot, as well as the red kidney beans. Everything goes in here. This is a sort of a one-pot dish. Everything goes in there and everything happens right here and now. I'm just going to give that another stir. We're going to add the water to the pot now, and the whole idea here is to bring the heat up to a boil, and then we're going to reduce that heat to a simmer. We want this to slow cook and make that rice nice and plump. At the end here, you're going to find all that liquid is going to burn off, and all that lovely marriage of flavors is going to happen. One final step. We're going to toss in this Scotch bonnet pepper. Boom, straight into the pot. Now guys, with cooking with peppers and hot peppers and stuff like that, I've got a few tips for you guys. Let's check it out. Let's take a closer look on using and cooking with hot peppers. Not just any old peppers, but Scotch bonnet peppers. Some of the hottest peppers in the world, something we use every day in Caribbean cooking. First tip, guys, I should technically be wearing gloves. These babies are hot. Just the oils from the outside alone can be burning my hands. But you know what? I'm half crazy, half experienced in using these things. It doesn't burn me anymore. If you want the flavor from these peppers and not the heat, what you're gonna do is, if let's say you're cooking callaloo, rice and peas pilau, you dump it straight into the pot as it is whole. What would happen is you'll get all that flavor from the pepper without the heat. Now near the end of cooking, what you're gonna do, take a spoon, fish it out, toss it into the sink, all that flavor you're getting without the heat. However, you have your neighbor over, you just can't stand this guy, but for some reason he's always over at your house. He's here, he's eating, put it on his plate. Once he bursts into that thing, he'll be bawling for mercy with the heat from that pepper. Now here's another tip. If that heat didn't work, put some gloves on. Grab that pepper, cut it open, rub it in his eye. Hey, he'll be bawling for days. He'll never come to your house looking for food again. Down here, guys, the pepper. I'm just gonna cut one open. You're probably wondering why I have this knife all over the place here, but we're just gonna cut one of these guys. Let's a nice bright colored one here. Just cut one of these open here. I wanna show you something. With these peppers, the main heat comes from these seeds here and the sort of membrane that surrounds the seeds. So this is where that heat comes from. So let's say you're beyond using just the whole pepper in the dish. You want some of that heat and you want all that flavor. What you're gonna do is cut around the seeds. And this flesh here is where you're gonna be, is what you're gonna be using, because you want that heat and not the real fire from this. The real fire is around here. And I've gotta take a smell. Wow, that thing is hot. Guys, this is where that heat is. So here we go. With the heat, with some of the heat and all that flavor, we're gonna use the outside. Now, if you want the full shebang, you want all that heat, you want everything in the dish, take the entire thing. Cut it up though. Don't put it in a hole and expect to burst at the end. Cut the entire thing up, seeds and everything. Put it in your pot, put it into your seasoning, into your meats, into your marinades. It will be pure fire. I mean to say, you'll probably need some yogurt or milk when you're done eating this. But oh, that flavor you're gonna get from it. Guys, so you know about peppers. You're set to go now. You know about the heat. You know how to play around with the heat. Give it a try. Hot peppers are amazing. You guys think you're slick. It's been a couple minutes now and it's nice and boiling. Remember, I had it on a high heat. We're gonna add the salt to it now. Give it a good stir. And what we're looking for, guys, in this recipe is nice plump rice grains without any sort of gluey, sticky, moist sort of rice. We want it nice and grainy. So what I'm gonna do is turn the heat down to a gentle simmer or a gentle rolling boil. We're gonna put the lid on there, allow it to cook for about 25 minutes, during which time you're gonna stir it every 5-10 minutes or so. And remember, near the end, if you find that it's burning off all that liquid before your rice is nice and grainy, feel free to add maybe a 1/4 cup of water just to allow for more cooking. It smells great in here. I can't tell you how beautiful it smells in here. 25 minutes, I can't wait to get my hands on this. It's been about 25 minutes. It is done cooking. The kitchen smells amazing and I can't wait to get into it. Here we go, guys. The finished Jamaican rice and peas. Very similar to that recipe I told for you guys down in Jamaica. Over here, I have that Scotch bonnet pepper, nice and cut open. Remember I told you guys, in your neighbor's eyes when you make your mix. I'm gonna snack on that while I'm eating this rice and peas. If you're looking for this rice and peas recipe, oldtalkmagazine.com, or I'm sure you're on Facebook. Check us out on Facebook, oldtalkmagazine.com. If you're looking for me personally, caribbeanpot.com. I'm going in, guys. Look.